But the minute she surrendered, she started to operate in God's will. Unforgiveness is an escape. At the time, I really didn't understand how could you like put someone out. How could you put someone out who you see is, trying to, do the best that they can with what they have, I take full accountability, and I'm not going to say probably. There's things that I could have done better. But again, it goes back to the love of Christ. But by his word, he didn't just leave them, astray. He didn't just, say, well, you did this, so I'm done with you, right? He didn't reject them because, who they were at the time. He truly did just encourage them, and he had compassion. He had grace for them, right? He just really uplifted them and poured into them, right? Reassured them that you can do this, right? Even if I'm not here, you can do this. He didn't just leave, he didn't just say, hey, I'm disowning you, or, he didn't just kick him out. Okay. I had to leave there, went back to my mom's house, which, I really just did not want to do. But I had to really come to a place where I had to accept where I was. I had to accept where I was. I had to accept, not stay there, but once I accepted where I was in that time and in that season, God was able to use me and turn my thinking cap on even more. He allowed me to get back creative. Went back to mom's house. At that time, we didn't have a firm, foundation relationship. We were button heads, and many of you, or maybe some of you you've overcame that, and God has restored your relationship with your parents. But at that time, my mom really just didn't understand the calling over my life. She really didn't understand how to, a word popped up in my head and I want to use that word, handle. She didn't know how to handle me. Whew. This is my first time kind of really going into depth like this, and choosing my words intentionally. But she didn't know how to handle me. I remember wanting to escape in those moments where I didn't even feel safe in the presence of my own mother. Because the way that I was handled, I started to isolate. And I remember her just saying, why are you always in the room? Why are you always in the room with the door closed? Why you never come downstairs, and this, that, and the other. But at that time in my life, I was very fragile. I was very fragile. Because God was pruning me in a way that I had never been pruned before, right? It was unfamiliar grounds. It was unfamiliar territory. And I think because it was all new to me, I was still processing the transformation that God was allowing me to go through. She didn't know how to handle me with that unconditional love at that time. I'm talking about the love, of course every mother, every father loves their child, but I'm talking about that unconditional love of Christ. I have to keep referring back to that. She wasn't gentle, and I forgave her. I just want to let y'all know that, which is another video I'll definitely do, because I know that that's something that a lot of people struggle with. You think you're going to hell because you committed adultery and like things of that nature. Like unforgiveness is like a thing. Like it's a big deal. So you can be the most perfect person, you can know all the scriptures, you can do all the things, but if you still have unforgiveness in your heart, God is going to deal with you in a different way. So I pray that anybody who has unforgiveness in their heart, that God will set you free from unforgiveness. Better yet, you set yourself free. Make a decision to forgive those who have hurt you. Make a decision to forgive those who have not know what they do, or those who put their mouth on you, who don't know what they're doing, okay? Pray for them. Pray for them, okay? And not in a malicious, ill way. No, pray for them. Pray for them that they will not do that to the next person. Pray for them that God will forgive them and cleanse their heart and purify their heart and renew their heart and their minds and the way they operate. Because I'm telling you, you don't want to block your blessings. Not forgiving somebody who hurt you 10 years ago, from somebody who may have molested you, from somebody who has, maybe betrayed you or tried to break you into pieces. I want to let y'all know, sister to sister, sister to brother, y'all have to forgive these people. Because a lot of these people are hurting, and what happens? Hurt people. And whether they realize it yet, that they are just broken, that they are hurt. And I pray that soon enough that they will look back and say, wow, I was actually really bitter. I was really mean. I was really holding a grudge against somebody who I was holding a grudge against the new person, which they didn't do nothing, but the old person I was holding a grudge against. It allowed me to hold a grudge to everybody who came into my life and tried to love me. Genuinely. Oh, man. I know that this is where I'm supposed to be. Because it's so much it's so much that I just want to say. It's so much. Can y'all tell? Like, I have been holding all of this in, because I know what it's like to come into somebody's life, to bring peace to their life, to bring love, an unconditional love, to serve them. And I know what it's like to feel like all they're doing is trying to break you. And you've shown nothing but grace. You have forgiven them time and time again. I just know that this is where, like, I'm supposed to be right now. I know that I'm supposed to be sharing these things, these intricate details. I'm sorry if you don't have time for it. This might not be for the channel for you, but I am going to spill it out. I'm going to put it all on the line. Why? Because this is not just about my own freedom. This is not just about, me being set free. This is about you. This is about the people that's watching me. This is about the people that's going to go through some of the things that I've been through. And so just know that you have to learn to forgive people. It's challenging. I wouldn't dare sit here and say that it's easy to forgive those who have hurt you. But it's so worth it. When people ask, how are your skin glowing and you going through so much, you're going through that. One of the keys to a glowing skin, okay, and that's another video in itself,
is forgiveness.
That is another video. Just like the woman with the issue of blood. She spent so much time and energy and money trying to fix that issue. She bled for 12 years. She was unnamed. But she bled for 12 years. Oh my. She was operating in her own will, trying to do things her own way. Pay all this money to physicians that couldn't even identify what was going on with her. But the minute she surrendered and she started to operate in God's will, in her Father's will, all she had to do was touch the end of his garment, and instantly, come on, you telling me she went from leading 12 years to instantly being healed, and all she had to do was lean on her Father who are in heaven? Come on, what? At that time was physical. He was human. He was in the flesh. You telling me all she had to do was touch the end of his garment, and instantly? How many times are we going to continue to operate from our own will instead of literally surrendering it all? I'm telling you, all these things that I'm talking about are going to have to be in a separate video. Surrendering my life to Christ, again, because it's an ongoing process, has changed the way has changed my outlook on the way that I see things so much. While so many people are stressing and panicking and freaking out, I have peace that surpasses all understanding. Guys, the moment that we operate from God's will, things really do happen. They happen suddenly. Sometimes they happen instantly. They may happen spontaneously. You might be this close to a breakthrough. Don't you dare give up. Don't you dare give in. So I want you to know that the moment you decide to forgive them in your heart and in your mind, right? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So the moment you make the decision, you can make the decision now. You can make the decision in 30 minutes. You can make the decision in an hour. The moment you make the decision to forgive those who have hurt you, whether intentionally, because people be out here just hurting people with their mouths, with their words, not knowing that the death that they're speaking or trying to speak over your life, God is going to, look, Judgment Day is here, it's now, it's coming. I mean, that's something that they're going to have to take to the grave. That's something that they're going to have to deal with that. But don't you take that to the grave. You forgive in your heart and in your mind, because the mind is a powerful thing too. The thoughts that you have, or the thoughts rather, let me put it back on me, because the thoughts that I would have when I had unforgiveness in my heart, they were not of God. They were not of God. And even the thoughts that I really didn't want to think, because, and again, unforgiveness is of the enemy. Unforgiveness, the enemy wants you to not forgive people. Why would we do that if God forgiven us? You get what I'm saying? Unforgiveness is an escape. It's an escape to a dark place. It's an escape to a place that will keep you stuck and stagnant. It's an escape to not deal with forgiveness. I just encourage you guys to stop escaping from your reality. Stop trying to escape what is, even what was, because your what was is the same thing that God is going to use to create your moments, your now. God can really use you where you are right now, how you are, weak, vulnerable, without, conformed even, broken. He can really use you wherever you are. So learn to stop escaping. Face your reality. The longer you try to escape your reality, your season, your growth, the pain, the longer it will take you to get to where God wants you to be. I love you guys. Make sure that you subscribe, you comment your takeaways, you share this with other people, especially people you know that's on the verge of a breakthrough. If you need to send this to them for encouragement, please do so. I love you guys. More love, more life, and more light. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.